Israel's Prime Minister argues Hamas needs to learn there are consequences to its actions after he announced all aid deliveries to Gaza would be stopped because the group had rejected a US proposal to extend a temporary ceasefire in the war-ravaged Strip. Middle East correspondent Matthew Doran is in Jerusalem.
Just hours after the initial 6-week ceasefire in Gaza expired, a major fracture appeared in the relative truce there. Benjamin Netanyahu announcing all aid deliveries, not just the increase in humanitarian supplies promised during the ceasefire, but all convoys would be stopped effective immediately. Some trucks carrying pallets of supplies were stuck at the Egyptian crossing into Gaza, not getting any notice of the decision. The reason for it was that Israel had adopted a US proposal to extend the temporary ceasefire into mid-April in a bid to secure the release of more Israeli hostages. Hamas had rejected that idea, saying it was a stalling technique designed to avoid negotiations on a lasting peace in the Strip. Israel says that if Hamas changes its position now, those talks on a so-called Phase 2 deal can begin. But until then, the position is clear.
And I want to make one thing clear. There will be no free lunches. If Hamas thinks that it will be possible to continue the ceasefire or to enjoy the conditions of Phase 1 without us accepting hostages, it is very mistaken.
Hamas says the announcement amounts to a war crime. It is saying that it is cheap blackmail on the lives of Palestinians and is calling on the international community to not only pressure Israel to allow aid in, but also to pressure the Netanyahu government to come to the negotiating table and hold those Phase 2 talks. Humanitarian agencies too sounding the alarm, the International Red Cross saying it could unravel the momentum towards peace and the meagre improvement in living standards in Gaza. The plan Israel is sticking to, it says, was developed by Steve Witkoff, the US President Donald Trump's special envoy to the Middle East. Under the proposal, the temporary ceasefire would be extended through the Muslim holy month of Ramadan and beyond the Jewish festival of Passover. That takes it into mid-April. Under such a proposal, Hamas would free half of the 59 Israeli hostages still held in Gaza on day one, and more than 30 of those are believed to have been killed in captivity. The rest of the hostages would be freed once a permanent ceasefire was agreed to. The reason Hamas doesn't want to necessarily agree to such a proposal is because it would limit its bargaining power going forward. Having fewer hostages in its custody means that it would want some ironclad guarantees from Israel about the future of Gaza, things like the Israeli military withdrawal before it went ahead with any such plan. And those are far trickier issues to come to an agreement on than the initial ceasefire talks back in January.